Hi, it's Monk and Kelly, and joining us is one of our favorite people, Sean Patrick McGraw.
Yes.
Don't you know?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, your favorite.
You're those people that keep their standards low and you're always happy.
That's right.
Somebody has to do that. Somebody has to keep their standards low, and we're willing to do it every day.
Awesome.
Now, you've had some interesting characters that you've gone motorcycling with, like Toby Keith.
Yeah.
Can you share a little bit of a Toby story with us?
We got lost. I went on a long motorcycle ride with him. We were in Montana. Mm-hmm. Someone failed to take a turn when they should have, and what was supposed to be a 5 or 6 hour motorcycle ride ended up being 17 hours to get back to Sturgis.
Oh boy!
And we stopped to get some food in Baker, Montana, a really small town.
Do you remember the food? The type of food? Was it Slim Jims? Was it? What was
Actually, it was just getting a sandwich because Toby was
yeah.
hungry, so Toby wanted to pull over. And real small mom and pop store in Baker, Montana. And the minute we get off the bikes, a big crowd had gathered because people recognized him, right?
Yeah.
And literally, like, the houses were empty. People were like, oh my God, that's Toby Keith. And some lady walked into the store, kind of followed me and Toby in, and she's like, to her little daughter, she's like, now, honey, that nice man over there is Mr. Toby Keith. You go over there and ask him for his autograph. And the girl's looking at me, and the mom's looking at me, and I'm looking at Toby, and I'm like, is that who he told you he was?
That's awesome.
And that's how they became friends.
Yes. So, did the crowd disperse after that?
Toby was really gracious, and he signed a lot of autographs, and I remember too that somebody in town had a racing lawnmower.
Did he race the racing lawnmower?
He brought the racing lawnmower over to show Toby and have Toby sign it. And this was a lawnmower that did 75 miles an hour.
Oh my goodness!
Wow.
Yeah,
I remember
awesome.
that very clearly too. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, fans can get crazy. I mean, like, people have sign my shoe, sign my elbow.
Yeah, someone posted a picture online just the other day of a body part that I'd signed for them at a gig. And I don't think my girlfriend was too happy when she saw that picture.
How does someone approach you like that? They're like, hey, I really.
Like that.
Well, you ask a simple question, you get
a very simple answer.
Yes, a
Yeah.
very simple answer.
Yeah. So, okay, when you're on the road, what do you do to make you feel a little connected with the folks back home?
In Ireland, because
Back in the old sod, gosh, I probably spend way too much time on the phone. Mm-hmm. I don't text and drive, but I'm constantly calling people. Mm-hmm. And I try to do something productive with my time, because so much of my time I spend alone, because I do an awful lot of shows solo, and I've done my radio tours alone, quite a few of them alone. So I've tried to learn Spanish while I'm driving.
Seriously?
Or learn French.
Oh, that's
or I do a lot of my songwriting while I'm on the road. Like, if I have half-baked ideas, I have a CD of all my half-baked ideas, and I put that in there. And I've actually written a lot of songs, completed them while driving.
While driving and
Yeah.
listening to Spanish and French, do you get confused?
Est-ce que vous voitiez en voiture?
Do you write?
Oui.
So you write French songs?
Oui.
Okay.
On pont.
Okay. Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So, oh wow.
I was here last year, and there was a fella downstairs who was German. Mm-hmm. So I walked in and said, "Wie geht es Ihnen?" And he started talking to me in German. He said, "You want to do this in German?" We did about a minute or two in German, and then he said, "Well, well, at least my assistant here, who doesn't speak a word of English, she's Russian." And I was, "Oh, здравствуйте, белый очень славный." And she was like, and like, "Do you want to do it in Russian?" I'm like, "That's about all I know." Sorry.
Okay, so what gave you that fascination with languages?
I'm just a geek, really. I guess. As a kid, I was always fascinated by. I taught myself German when I was 8 years old. Don't ask me why. I was a weird kid. Yeah.
Did you just hanging out at Hofbrau House or something?
No, I think my mom had a German textbook from when she was in high school, and I picked it up and learned it on my own. And I never ever used it, but I did go to Germany years ago with my ex-wife, and we were at the Hofbrau House, and real Hofbrau House.
Yeah.
And I started ordering in German. She's like, "Where did that come from?" Like, she didn't know I could speak it. I'm like, I forgot I knew that language.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Very
weird.
Cool. Now, you like to travel a lot, especially to other
everywhere.
countries. Yeah.
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 Favorite places that you've been, that you've performed, or favorite places that you just hang out?
Well, we were talking about Ireland. Ireland
Yeah,
is
sure.
one of the best places to play. Really, really awesome audiences. Very respectful.
Okay, is it like the barroom audiences that you're talking about? Just the
I
concert
played a
audiences, or-
couple pubs in Ireland and
sure.
had a great time.
Of course, they're
and,
having a great time. So how can you not have a
yeah,
great
and
time?
I busked on the streets of Dublin when I got out of college. I busked on the streets for about a month.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And
fantastic.
I hope the weather was good.
it wasn't terrible. I've been to Ireland twice. The second time I went, it did nothing but rain and was cold and cruddy, and it was like, I understand why they drink. I get it. It was gray and depressing. There's a very famous mountain range in near Connemara, in not quite into Northern Ireland, but just below the border. It's called the 11 Bends. It's kind of like looks like the Rockies.
Right.
If you were there, you would never know you were in Ireland. But the thing is, the weather's always so typically bad that most people who've ever gone there have never actually seen those mountains because they're always so obscured by clouds.
Really?
Yeah, and I went to go see them, and I didn't get to see them either. And some very famous English painter went there to paint them, and I guess he waited almost 3 months for the skies to clear so he could get a good painting, and eventually he just gave up. His patience ran out.
That is wild.
Well, apparently he didn't have enough Guinness.
I'm sure he did. Yeah.
The new single is "I'm That Guy." So, and the story behind that is
This is a story for how a song got written that you will never hear again, I don't think, from anyone else. Usually my process as a songwriter is you get an idea. Someone will say something that just, wow, that one's, and I'll say, I need to write a song with that as the hook.
Right.
Usually, and write backward from that. Almost always have kind of a lyric idea first. 99% of the time, that's how I write a song.
Right.
My current single was written with Dale Oliver, who is guitar player for the band Black Hawk, and he's a producer. He produces Bucky Covington and a bunch of people. And Serge Salinas. And Serge, besides being a songwriter, owns the Wrestling Network,
Wow.
as in the
Sure.
TV
Yeah.
network.
Yeah.
And we wrote that song. The only idea that we had walking into the room was, hey, let's write something that the card girls, the
Really?
hot, scantily clad women that walked on with the nine,
And that
you
was
know,
the
Walk
idea.
to?
Yeah. Yeah.
like some music that would sound cool for them
Yeah.
to walk down into the auditorium.
Wow.
We were trying to write like source music, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah.
And I started out with a guitar riff.
Yeah.
Which I never ever do that. And we were like, yeah, we'll make up some dumb lyrics. We'll just figure something out, and kind of got lucky with a lyric that I don't think is. I mean, it's dumb, but it's not that dumb. You know?
I don't think it's dumb. It's a good lyric.
But it's fun.
Well,
fun.
it's not
okay,
Guy
yeah.
Clark, I mean.
So that's the story behind. Yeah, it's a wrestling.
Yeah,
song.
it's a wrestling song. Yeah.
For
And hopefully they will end up using it. We'll see.
for scantily clad.
I'm
card
all
girls.
about women not wearing a lot of clothes. I like that.
Is that why you're divorced, or?
Let's not go there. Keep it on the funny side, John. Keep it on the funny side.
Seriously. He thought he was.
I thought it was.
No, it had nothing to do with
Because
that.
I'm that guy.
No, had nothing to do with that.
Okay, so where are we going to see you perform these songs next?
Oh, where am I going on the road? I think I'm in Pennsylvania in a couple weeks. I'm going to Mississippi this weekend to do a March of Dimes benefit.
Nice.
Really?
Okay. Very nice.
And then I'm in Blytheville, Arkansas the next weekend to do a St. Jude benefit.
Oh, very good. One of our favorite causes.
Yeah, and then I'm in Blytheville, Arkansas on Friday, and then I'm in Olean, New York on Sunday to do a St. Jude benefit.
Are you driving?
I'm
Flying?
driving.
You're driving.
I'm driving.
In New York in the winter.
Yeah.
Well, I grew up there, so driving on the ice and the snow, I'm not really phased. But I literally learned how to drive a car. My grandmother taught me how to drive when I was 13 years old in the snow on a stick shift. And the reason she wanted us kids to drive is that so that she could. I grew up in a real small town where everyone knew everyone. So she would send us to the store to get her beer.
Hey kids.
When I was 14.
$5. Go get a six.
When I was 14, and you could go into the store, and they're just like, "This is for my grandmother," and they knew my grandmother, and okay, here you go.
Yeah, and if you don't get home with it, we'll know.
Yeah.
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 Wow, that's awesome.
Wow. Very
He's
cool.
that guy. He's Sean Patrick McGraw. He's that guy.
And thanks for joining us.
Well, it's great to see you again.
Thanks. Good
Thanks.
to see you. Thanks
Awesome.
a lot, man.